Why do we just get it? Oh, that's the sound it makes when we go live. You don't have to mute yourself the whole time. You could. I better eat before we get live. Oh, you live already?
Yeah. LOL.
Mm-hmm. Once we get live, we're gonna have an infinite video. You know what I call
Nice.
it?
Yeah. Those are fun. Nice.
Once we get live, we're gonna have an infinite. It got my food.
Hello, Infinite Portal. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Hello, video number. Hello,
Oh,
video
we're
number
actually
4.
live. It's just recording
Hello,
itself,
video number
like
5.
loading. All right, let's get out of this
Hello,
infinite loop.
video number 6.
Wait, let's turn the sound off on this so we'll be hearing ourselves. Oh my gosh, that was so trippy. I kept hearing you laughing and I didn't know if you were now or it was recording of you.
It was totally a recording.
Okay, I was like, why do you keep on laughing? Okay, so Mishnah 7.
Life is that funny. Hashem throws us a lot of jokes.
Yeah. Mishnah 7. So this is a fascinating Mishnah. So this touches on the idea of Rosh Chodesh, sanctifying the new moon, is something which is a mitzvah on us to make the new month holy, to sanctify the time. Whereas with Shabbos and with holidays, we don't do it. It's by itself. It's as if God sanctifies it. But there's a little bit of a disagreement as per how far that goes. So the way that it worked, they didn't have a set calendar. So they would have witnesses come to the court and testify when they saw the new moon, so they would know when the new month is beginning. And if for some reason the witnesses didn't see the new moon, or it was too cloudy or whatever it was, then you'd have different situations what happening. So a month could either have 29 or 30 days. And if it had 29 days, then the 30th day would be Rosh Chodesh. And if it had 30 days, then the 31st day would be Rosh Chodesh. But if the witnesses didn't come by then, you don't need witnesses anymore because it's impossible for the month to get any longer. So the question is, are we sanctifying the month even if the witnesses don't come and we have a full 30-day month? So this is the disagreement of the Mishnah. And last I looked at this, we looked at the Rambam Pirush Mishnayot, the Rambam's explanation on this, and he says that we actually go with the opinion that we don't sanctify it, it's sanctified by heaven if the month gets a full 30 days. So let's read the Mishnah. Rosh Beit Din Omer Mekudash. After they've accepted the testimony of the witness, the head of the court says, Mekudash, it is sanctified. V'chol ha'am onin acharav mekudash mekudash. And all the nation, all the people who are there, repeat after him, Mekudash, Mekudash, sanctified, sanctified. Bein shenira bismano, whether it was seen at its time, meaning the month was 29 days and it was seen on day 30. Bein shalon nira bismano, whether the month was 30 days and they saw it on the 31st. Mekad shinoto, you still have this ritual, this sanctifying from the court. Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Tzadok Omer, Rabbi Elazar the son of Rabbi Tzadok says, Im lo nira bismano, if it was not seen in its proper time, meaning the month had 29 days, ein mekad shinoto, we do not do any process of being mekadesh the month, shekvar kitshuhu shamayim, because it was already sanctified in heaven. So that's that Mishnah.
That kind of makes me think of Shabbat actually, because especially in a summertime, in a late area, but even in Israel, you pull in Shabbat, and you using your words pull
Oh,
in
yeah.
Shabbat. But if you
We have
reach
a
a
mitzvah.
threshold, then Shabbat happens.
Right. We have a mitzvah to sanctify Shabbat before Shabbat comes in, before sundown.
Tosefet
Exactly.
Shabbat.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're getting into some fascinating stories of Rabbi Gamliel, and one of the most famous stories of Rabbi Gamliel. Dimut tsurot levanot hayu lo Rabbi Gamliel betavla bakotel baliyato. Rabbi Gamliel, the head of the academy in Yavne in Israel, had images of the moon in its different stages and positions on a tablet, on a board, on the walls of his study. Shebehen mara et hadyotot. He would show them to the simple folk who were unlearned as per the moon. V'omer hakazeh re'ita o kazeh. And he would say to them, was the moon you saw like this, or was it like this? So he was quite knowledgeable, which a head of court, head of the academy would need to be. Masa shebo shnayim ve'amru. It once happened that two witnesses came to the court, and they said, Re'inu shachrit b'mizrach va'arvit b'marav. They said, we saw it in the morning in the east, and in the evening in the west. Now, this is an impossibility, and I don't know enough about the moon to explain what's going on, but it's impossible, and I've seen two different explanations of what this story is going on here, but let's keep reading a little bit. Amar Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, who apparently was on the court, said, Eidei Shekerheim, they're false witnesses, they're liars. Kishibo, so this was maybe when they were on the way to Yavne, on the way to Rabbi Gamliel. Kishibo liYavne, when they reached Yavne, Kiblan Rabbi Gamliel accepted their testimony. So we have Rabbi Gamliel, who's using his logic, which is different than Rav Yochanan ben Nuri, to accept their testimony. So, having learned with Max Shapiro, Chavrus I learned with a little bit later in the evening, we learned the Rambam Pirush Mishnayot on this, and he explains. First, the Rambam goes and I'm going to use a lambasts those who understand this Mishnah that Rabbi Gamliel somehow accepted something that was impossible, and he says that what happens was that he accepted part of their testimony. He examined them enough to realize that it is very likely that they saw something which truly was the new moon, and that the rest of their testimony, which contradicts it, was simply their misunderstanding because they were fooled. They thought they saw the moon and they didn't really. So that's how the Rambam explains Rabbi Gamliel's position here. Is that understood, Shmuel?
That sounds like it makes a lot of sense. I know that if I were standing in front, had I not been told, hey, take a strong mental image of what you see, I might look and be like, I'm going to fail this quiz.
Yeah. So Rabbi Gamliel, after examining them and from his knowledge of the science, he understood that they truly had seen the new moon, and their contradictory statements was just nonsense. Ve'od bo shnayim. There was another story where another two witnesses came. Ve'amru re'inu bizmano. They said, we saw it in its time. We saw the new moon. Ubelelu iburo, but the night when it should have been there, lo nira, we didn't see it. So meaning we saw it and then we didn't see it. So that's just makes no sense. The Kiblon Rabbi Gamliel, again, Rabbi Gamliel accepted their testimony that the new moon was seen. Amar Rabbi Dosa ben Harkinis, Rabbi Dosa the son of Harkinis said, Edi Shekerhain, they're liars. Heyach midin ala isha sheyolda, so he brings a mashal, a full month is the same word as a pregnant month. So he uses the analogy of a pregnant woman. He says, how can you testify on a pregnant woman, on a woman that she's given birth, but the next day she's still pregnant? The literal words there are her belly is between her teeth. She's pregnant. Amar lo Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua said, Roa ani et divarecha. I agree with you, Reb Dosa ben Harkinis. So they both went against Rabbi Gamliel's reasoning. Again, the Rambam explains there very similarly that Rabbi Gamliel understood that they had in fact seen the moon, but that the moon was just, it's possible to have some kind of fog or cloud that you can't see the moon, but you don't realize that that there's fog or clouds. Okay. Now we're going to continue these stories between Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua. And this is one of the most famous stories. Mishnah 9, Tet. Shalach lo Rabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Gamliel sent a message to Rabbi Yehoshua. Goes Rani alecha shetavo etzli b'makelcha uv'ma'otecha b'yom kippurim shecha liot b'cheshboncha. I order you to come to me with your staff and your money belt on Yom Kippur, according to your calendar. Since Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua had a disagreement as to the new month, Yom Kippur would have fallen out on a different day for both of them. So Rabbi Gamliel, who's the head of the academy and is the authority, ordered Rabbi Yoshua to come to him in Yavne with his staff and money belt, which is not allowed on Yom Kippur, on Yom Kippur according to Rabbi Yeshua's calendar. So this is like, really heavy, yeah. Halachum etzo Rabbi Akiva Meitzer. Rabbi Akiva went to visit him and found him in distress. Amarlo, he said to him, Yesh li lilmod, I have a principle. Shekol masha asur Rabbi Gamliel asui. Whatever Rabbi Gamliel says to do, that's what's done. Or whatever Rabbi Gamliel does, that's what we do. Shnemar, as it says in Vayikra, Ele moadei Hashem mikra'ei kodesh asher tikra'u otam. These are the holidays of Hashem, the holy times, asher tikra'u otam, that you proclaim them. Bein bismanan. So the verse says you proclaim them. You proclaim them whether they're in their proper time, whether they're not in their proper time. Ainli mo'adot ela elu. These are the only holy times, the ones that you proclaim, whether you got it correct or not. Balo etzel Rabbi Dosa ben Harkinis. Rabbi Yoshua went to visit Rabbi Dosa ben Harkinis, who was the original instigator here, because he was the one who voiced the original opinion against Rabbi Gamliel. But apparently he wasn't sticking by his guns. Once Rabbi Gamliel gave his opinion, he went with him. So Rabbi Yoshua went to visit Rabbi Dosa ben Harkinis. Amarlo, he said to him, Imban anu ladun achar beitino Rabbi Gamliel tzrichan anu ladun achar kol beitin ubeitin she'amud mimot Moshe v'ad achshav. Rabbi Dosa ben Harkinis said to Rabbi Yoshua, if we were to question the decisions of the court of Rabbi Gamliel, we would need to question the decisions of all the courts that have stood since the time of Moshe. Shenemar, as it says in Shemot, Vayal Moshe v'Aaron Nadav Avihu v'Shiv Miziknei Yisrael. Moshe, Aaron, Nadav, and Avihu, and the 70 elders rose up. Lama lo nitparshu Shemot and Shel Zakanim. Why does it just say a generic 70 elders of Israel? El lamei shekol shlosha she'amdu beit din Yisrael. Every three leaders, every three teachers who have created a court, Harihu kebeit dino shel Moshe, they are all have the same status as the court of Moshe. So Rav Dosa ben Horkanus was teaching Rabbi Yeshua that you cannot question the decision of the court, even if you disagree. You can't allow your reasoning and logic to separate yourself from their decisions. Natal maklo umeota biyado. He took his stick and his money belt. V'halach liyavne, and he went to Yavne. Eitzur ben Gamliel, Tzur ben Gamliel. B'yom shechol Yom Kippurim liyot b'cheshbono. On the day that Yom Kippur would have fallen out according to Rabbi Yeshua's calendar. Amar ben Gamliel. Ben Gamliel rose, stood up. Unishako al rosho. He kissed his head. Amar lo. And Ben Gamliel said to Rabbi Yeshua, Bo b'shalom, come in peace. Rabbi v'talmidi, my teacher and my student. Rabbi b'chachma, you are my teacher in wisdom. V'talmidi shekibaltu devarai, and you are my student that you accepted my words. That's Mishnah Tes. Such a touching piece.
God bless. Yeah. See, it's interesting because I can't really put myself in such a position. The first many times I've read this, I was like, yeah, I mean, if you believe something, the other guy said it, okay, that's how we go. You got to kind of put it away and just be like, this is what the leader of the generation said. But I'm saying this from a perspective of someone who's like, chazer b'tshuva after 3 years. So of course I would put away my opinion and go with the leader. If someone has like this sincere halachic depth, to put it away is such a huge deal. It's really such a bigger deal than the text can just simply display. There's so much more context and perspective necessary to see why it's such a big deal that he did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, it seems like Rabban Gamliel did it for purposes bigger than whatchamacallit, just simply like it seemed like there's some bigger reason, because if it was sincerely how not necessarily I don't know what I'm trying to say. Maybe it wasn't the best for being accuracy, but it was the best for the overall calendar. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I'm sure. You were saying that Rabbi Gamliel did it like not for his own personal. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that, or maybe that maybe he didn't do it as like trying to be the most accurate. I don't know exactly, but maybe it was for the best of the overall, like the big picture. Like it needed to be mekudash at that point. First, for whatever reason, he.
I think that's a little difficult to say. I think I don't know. I mean, there may be some precedent to that, but that's a pretty radical thing to say. That he didn't, he wasn't following protocol.
Yeah, but if it is actually like the dissenting opinion, that it was like someone who's meubar, and then it was someone who gave birth and then who's meubar the next day.
Well, that's what the Rambam was coming to go against. And interestingly, I just found another Pirush that comes to talk about it. So apparently there's a lot of discussion here about whether Rebbe Gamliel accepting them made any sense. And the Rambam goes very, very harsh. Anyone who says that Rebbe Gamliel wasn't doing the proper thing, meaning sort of kind of what you might have been thinking that like he knew the month had to be now, but not that these witnesses actually made any sense. And he goes very strong and says no, the testimony made sense, and Gamliel was following the logic of just following the testimony. I'm reading. What?
No, I'm disagreeing. I'm hearing what you're saying.
Yeah, here's the Melech Shlomo. He says, Yesh me chachmei amazalot shemotzian Lazar and Gamliel. There are those the wise men of the astronomers that use this Mishnah to slander Rabbi Gamliel, to say that he didn't know how astronomy worked. Lefi shekabal ha'edim halalu shamar davar shena lefi she'i efshir la'olam she'edim shiro et yeshana shachar smizach yirom et ha'chadasha bo bayom arvis marev. So he says, the actual testimony as recorded in the Mishnah is truly impossible. V'harab Shlomo Zal pirish ha'chadasha hi shiro kan v'kan v'kol shehosef lona pirusha tema al tema. That's what the Rambam says. Tama rucha v'aksara. There is heim somcham firza. Right. Okay, it's very similar to the Rambam. All right, this is pretty involved. Not going to go through this. Yikes.
All right. Oh wow, that is a lot.
But they are going that no, the testimony makes sense in some way. So the Yachin here says, Gamliel told Rabbi Yeshua, "You are my student because you accepted my words." This brought peace between them. This appeased Rabbi Yeshua. Because Rabbi Gamliel was saying, it's not that I think that I'm smarter than you, that I told you to do this. I told you to do this so that the Torah should not be split up into two camps.
Yeah, that's really important, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Maybe let's see how the next Mishnah looks.
Yeah. It's interesting to see what decisions are made for unity. Yeah. That happens here and there. It's really a beautiful thing, and it should be the kind of thing that people note or take a look at when they.
A difficult thing. I'm sure it was very difficult for Yeshua.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But it's the kind of thing that shows the priority that hopefully we can adapt today as well.
Yeah. So this is apparently the last Mishnah to deal with the new month, the sanctification of the new month, and has a few more rules. All right, let's see it. So maybe we'll just do this first Mishnah of chapter 3, and Mazel Tov, we finished Perek Beis, chapter 2. Yeah. Okay. Ra'uhu Beit Din v'Kol Yisrael. If the court and all of Israel saw, I guess, the moon. Nech karu ha'edim. V'lo hispiku lo mamikudash. So everyone saw the moon. They examined witnesses, but they didn't have time to do this ceremony of saying mikudash ad shechashecha, until it already grew dark, and then the month was therefore a full month of 30 days. And according to that second opinion, you no longer do the mikudash ceremony because it's already been sanctified by heaven. Harizem ubar, right? So this, because it became dark, it's already called a ubar, pregnant month, a 30-day month. Ra'uhu beitin bilvad. So I guess that's oh, no. That's not what I'm talking. We're talking about a different rule. So the question is the 30th Rosh Chodesh or is the 31st Rosh Chodesh? So, wow, this is fascinating. So we see the moon. Everyone sees the moon, but we don't have time to process, the paperwork. In fact, we just have like one signature left on the paperwork. It's such bureaucracy of one signature left. Like all you have to do is for the court to say Mikudash and everyone to say Mikudash, and then it would be Rosh Chodesh. But they don't have time, and the sun goes down. Right? So if they had said it 3 minutes earlier, then it would be Rosh Chodesh right now. But because they didn't say it, so you have to wait for the next day for Rosh Chodesh. Even though, according to the moon, it was today.
Because you couldn't at night?
Apparently, once the sun goes down, it starts the next day. And I guess you have to do it during the day.
I forgot why, but I think it does need to be during the day. I just don't.
I guess you have to do it about for the day for the next day or something. I mean, so let's read this. Let's read this English again. In this case, it was abundantly clear that the new month had arrived, but the court was not able to convene and sanctify it before it grew dark, and the 30th day of the previous month was over. So the 30th day was over. Therefore, the next day is the 31st, and the 31st has to be Rosh Chodesh. The Mishnah rules that since the court did not attempt to declare the new month sanctified, it is not sanctified, and Rosh Chodesh will have to wait for the next day. You have to do it during the day. Although the 31st has to be Rosh Chodesh, so they're already in the 31st, and it has to be Rosh Chodesh, but I guess it still needs to have the court sanctifying it, which only happens during the day, maybe.
I'd never seen the thing where it automatically becomes sanctified, actually. I don't have that much experience. Where is this from?
Well, no, I don't know how it works that it automatically becomes sanctified, but I know that a month can't have more than 30 days.
Looks like we're going to find out. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that, and this points out here in the English that this is showing further how it's the people that create the reality of the new month. Because even though, it's clear that the new moon is there, it's still not sanctified. Re'uhu beitin bilvad. If only beitin saw it, Ya'amdu shnayim v'ya'idu b'fneihem. 2 witnesses came up and testified. V'yomru mikudash. No. If Beis Din saw it, then 2 of the Beis Din should get up and testify. And then they can say mikudash. So what is that? If the members of the court themselves were the only ones who saw the new moon, then those who saw the new moon should testify in front of the others So you have to have at least 5 people in the court. 2 of them stand up and testify, and 3 are receiving the testimony. And then the court may declare sanctified, sanctified. Okay. Ra'uhu shlosha v'heim beitin. What if 3 people saw the moon and they are members of the court themselves? Ya'amdu hashnayim v'yoshivu mechavreihem etzel hayachid v'ya'idu b'fneihem. 2 of them stand up, find some friends of theirs, sit them down with the remaining 1, so that you have 3 receiving their testimony, and then you can sanctify it Yom Mekudash Mekudash. So you cannot have the same people being the witnesses and the judges. So 2 of them find 2 other people, and you find 2 other people to take the places as judge, and they testify. Right, so you cannot have 1 person being the court.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagefen.
Amen. What happened with Rabbi Ovadia and that decision?
Oh, so for those of you just now listening, I had a question about whether somebody could yotze another person, specifically on Sfirat Omer. And Rabbi Chaim Ovadia, who I think is currently in Maryland, he said yes. But so far, Rabbi, I haven't checked my email. I sent him a quick email. So far, just from the Facebook message, he said yes, which is very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. Could also email Rafink.
Indeed, that's a good option as well.
I would say this isn't a case of posek hopping because you don't have a relationship with Rav Ovadia, and he doesn't know you.
Can you further explain posek hopping?
If you have a rabbi you ask questions to, you shouldn't, and then you ask him a question, he says something, you shouldn't go and do something else. Although I'm sure there's nuance there. Rafink could be asked about that. Nowadays, like most people ask questions to various people. Okay, I'd be interested to hear further in that decision. All right, so finishing this Mishnah. So if 3 people who are a court themselves, because the minimum for a court is 3, they see the moon, and now you have to have 3 people being the judges and 2 people being the witnesses. So you can't have those 3 people doing the whole thing. So you find another 2 people to be judges, and they split up. So 2 of the original court are witnesses, and 2 of their friends plus 1 of the court are the 3 judges, and they can sanctify the moon. Shein hayachid neman aide atzmo, because a one person is not trusted to sanctify the moon by himself. I assume as a judge, you can't have 1 judge. Beautiful. This brings up questions as to, was it a specific court that did the sanctification? Any court? I don't know. But beautiful. That seems to be the last Mishnah talking about the sanctification of the moon. And we'll continue with Mishnah Beis, please God, tomorrow.
Baruch
Thank you.
Hashem.
Well.
Thank you, Rabbi.